Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Shelter Manager. This is a game that's coming to Steam's Early Access program, October 9th, 2021. So in about 5 days, as of the date and time of this recording. So it goes without saying that everything that you're about to see here, including this review, is subject to change. I want you to remember that I said that because I'm about to bash this game pretty hard. It's not that I don't find this particular genre interesting. In fact, I don't want to say 50, 100, 150 hours in the original Sheltered game, and with the buggy mess that is Sheltered 2, I was kind of looking forward to playing this. Well, first and foremost, this game is very, very rough around the edges. When I first booted up the game, in fact, it was all in Russian. So I had to play with the buttons until I could figure out how to change the language to English. Alright, I can live with that. I've dealt with that before. Okay. So now that I'm actually in the game, I have the option between this campaign and a single player mode. The single player mode is locked until you get past campaign mission number 3. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go ahead and play the campaign for a while. So as I was jumping into it, I learned that this is not a real-time Shelter Manager game like Sheltered. Rather, it's a turn-based stat/number/spreadsheet manager where, okay, you're going to get 10 ticks of workers this turn. You're going to get, 20 ticks of this per turn. You're going to lose so many ticks of this per turn. And you're just watching numbers go up and down. There are sliders. You can set food portions, the amount of hours you work per day. There's also a work/science slider. So the more heavily weighted you have science, you'll produce more science. The more heavily weighted you have it on work, you'll produce work. And there's also some other things that you'll be able to do. There's a trade menu, for example. You'll be able to just, sell off resources or whatnot and then buy a resource of your choosing. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like the economic style of that. There's the ability to turn workers into army. They're called recruits. And then you can also produce weapons and then assign weapons to those recruits. Also really cool. That increases your military power. I like that idea too. And all of that, I don't mind that approach to it. A turn-based stat/spreadsheet, that's fine. I'm all for it. That being said, the tutorial is god-awful. I cannot get past mission 3. I've attempted it 4 times. I followed the tutorial to the letter, and I lose every time. The game, because this is turn-based, will task you with completing things within a time limit. So you need to capture bunker blah 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 in 20 turns, or you need to produce enough work to open the shelter door within so many turns. You need to research pistols 1 by so many turns. Yes, there's research in this game too. I did mention science earlier. You accumulate science points, and the science tree isn't all that big. It's just 3, based on what I've played so far, it's just 3 horizontal tree branches, and you just research one after the other. So you have a choice 1 of 3 that you choose between. And it'll be typically things like, okay, increase the science output by 50 per turn, or increase pistols power by so much. Okay. You can build rooms, but that's only if you have the tools to do so. Again, I was only tasked with building rooms 1 time in mission 1, and I have not done so since. The tutorial didn't tell me to do it, so maybe I'm supposed to do that. Maybe that's why I'm losing all the time. I don't know. Again, the tutorial is really lacking. For example, mission 3, I'm tasked with taking over a bunker that involves raids. I'm like, oh, cool. So I can actually send my army people out into the world and attack these other bunkers. And again, you're presented with these sliders, like how aggressive do you want to be? That'll give you more casualties if you're aggressive, but you're killing the enemy faster. That kind of thing. And I'm fine with spreadsheet style games. The problem is that, the tutorial starts you off and it's like, you need to send raids out. I'm like, okay, I will. I'm following your advice. It didn't tell me how. The guy just popped up and said, send out raids. I'm like, okay, so what sliders should I adjust? What should I do? So I just kept the default and hit OK. And then I waited a couple of turns. I clicked the next turn button a couple of times. And my guys died. They're all dead. And then a couple of turns later, they're like, oh, you need to research Pistols 1. That'll make your army more powerful because you're fighting an overwhelming force. I'm like, well, that would have been nice to know prior to going into this. And now, with all my people wiped out, that included all my pistols that I had produced from the prior mission, I no longer have the materials necessary. Like, I can't, for whatever reason, I'm not producing metal every turn. And I don't know if I need to produce, build a room that produces it or what. But I was stuck. I'm like, well, I can't produce pistols. I can train more people, but I barely have any to begin with now. So I need to restart the scenario. So I did. And I waited. Rather than setting the raid right away, I researched Pistols 1 and 2, made my people more powerful, and I captured the bunker, or I did something. But then I ran out of time. Oh, the other objective was to increase your worker count to 400 or something, and that involves raiding. So because I didn't raid soon enough, I couldn't accumulate enough workers, because you're like capturing workers from the other shelter, to complete this. So I'm like, okay, so wait, in the first attempt, I didn't wait. I went too soon. The second scenario, I waited too long. I'm like, the tutorial is just, no. So I was too frustrated with this game to continue playing it. It's a cool concept, but the reason I'm reviewing it, even in a pre-early access state, is that the game releases in 5 days' time. And you need to know what you're getting into. If you don't mind a rocky experience, then by all means pick this up. I mean, I play Fallout Shelter on my phone and on the computer all the time. I love Fallout Shelter. So, I'm excited to play this. It's just rough around the edges right now. Pre-early access. This needs a lot of work before I would touch it again. Cool concept, though. I'll give it that. But just be warned that if you do purchase into this game day one, it is not going to be the smooth sailing experience that you may expect. In all fairness, early access does mean that the game is still under development. I totally get that. But some games release into early access fully playable, and you're able to just smoothly do your thing. This game is like, figure stuff out on your own. There's a lot of concepts, a lot of learning curve. You're going to fail multiple times before you find, oh, I was supposed to do this, or maybe I should have. You have to find the right order in which to build things in your shelter to get things done in so many turns. I would rather play a free play mode. I'm assuming that's what the single player game is, but don't quote me on it because I haven't gotten there yet. So I would really like to see that free play mode unlocked right from the beginning. I want sliders so I can adjust like the difficulty of what I'm about to play, that kind of thing. As it stands right now, the game is just, it's more of a puzzle rather than a shelter manager, to be honest. It's adjust the spreadsheet numbers so that you win the thing within so many turns. That's what it feels like right now, and it's buggy and not finished. So again, early access, take what you will. If you guys haven't already, subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.